Welcome. It is the Ski Bum Podcast, and it is your pals, Mario and Brian. Mario, what's up?
It's been a long week. I'm glad we're podcasting. What are we on? A Friday, right? This is
Another Friday podcast.
Yeah, these are rare, but I guess they're common now. I don't know.
They're not as rare as they used to be.
Yeah, this is like the
They're
time
kind of
that we
fun.
have.
Yeah, you know, it just worked out that way that we're doing it on a Friday, and then it's been a bit of a weird start to the ski season for us here on the East Coast. It was not looking so great, then looked great for a week, and then not looking great again, and it's been a bit touch and go. But you know, we have a little bit of a discussion we're going to have about our season, how we're going to be kicking it off
Big plans.
very soon. So we're excited. Hopefully, you're already getting out there on the snow. Thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate it. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. We're on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Untapped, at Ski Bum Podcast. Send us an email, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. We got a shop, skibumpodcast.com/shop. Most stuff still on sale. Trying to help you guys out the holiday season. We're trying to push out some merch, spread the love, go there.
Holidays. You gotta get your merch.
And if you did not pre-order one of the Red Boots shirts, they are still available. I got a couple extras.
Ooh, those are in very high demand.
I decided out of the kindness of my heart to order a couple extras for those who may have forgotten, missed out. So I still have 5 more left. Bought some extras. So
I think that's going to have to be big next time at the Boston show if we go. That's going to be our thing.
It was a people pleaser. You know, I wish I would have had more at the moment because there's people that would have bought it there.
Oh, yeah.
If we had it. But then you like have them go to the shop. They're like, I don't know how to do this. So, like they just kind of like forget about it. That's the whole
use
thing.
The internet. I got to go home and do something. That's it.
You know what we should have actually had like the website on the phone ready to go. Have them just order it right there. Have some sort of like, you know, point of sale device, something. But you know,
next time we're setting up a little table. We're gonna have stuff for sale right there.
That's
koozies,
like the ladies,
shirts, hats, the whole thing.
The ladies with the those ski backpacks for kids, like I bought 2 of them from them because they had the point of sale ready to go. Put it in, pre-order, send it through, good to go.
Ready to go.
That's the move. But if you don't want to buy something, but you want to support us, patreon.com/ski bum podcast.
We're on Patreon?
We're on there.
You can subscribe and support us.
We sure are. We have several tiers you can choose from to help us out. That would be awesome.
We got to give some super secret like information on there.
Yeah, we gotta update some of the stuff you get if you're in the $100 a month club. That's the baller club. You know, anyone could do $5 a month, but if you want to be baller,
if you sign up, I think we could do a chat before our podcast.
You can be live audience as it happens.
Yeah, you want to be a guest?
You're an executive producer if you're going to do the $100 a month.
Exactly.
That is the U.S. Gold. Basically, that is the U.S. Gold version of passes. If you're a Patreon and you're giving us $100 a month, that you are a U.S. Gold member.
We can even make you like a little pass, little gold.
Totally could do that.
Gold Mario and Brian on a pass. That'd be fabulousness.
Who wouldn't want that, right?
Oh, you go skiing, you have our gold pass. They'd be like, oh yeah, sir, you can cut the line.
Yes, that would be nice, right?
That would be nice. Free beer.
Something like that. Oh yeah, also to YouTube. We're out there to YouTube. I don't know. Just look, Ski Bum Podcast. We're there. We're out there.
You can see us live.
Not live, really. After the fact, once the podcast gets edited,
alive,
cut up,
when we're alive,
sort of in the metaverse. That'll be us.
In the metaverse, that'd be weird.
So thank you again so much for listening, Mario. Let's kick it off the way we always do.
It's time for Après Today.
So my Après today was it's interesting. I got a big bike ride tomorrow. So
Tour de France.
It's Tour de France. It's actually nothing big, but you know, I'm doing it with my wife. She's actually going to do 30 miles with me tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, that's good.
Do you know how much she's going to complain in 30 miles?
I figured like, you know, normally, especially it being flat, I'd be trying to average like 20 plus miles an hour. I'm setting the standard at, I want to average like maybe 15 to 12 miles an hour because it's been a nice leisurely ride. The weather's great down here. We're just gonna ride it out, right? And afterwards, it's a bike and beer event. So we start at Coppertail Brewing Company in Tampa, and we end at Coppertail. And afterwards, they have the whole fun, music, and you get some beers and you hang out. Like, it's gonna be a fun event. So I'm looking forward to it. It's actually my wife's birthday, and she
Oh,
agreed
nice.
to do this ride on her birthday. So I'm like, it's gonna be fun. So
Very cool.
glad she didn't aggravate me too much, and we didn't have a blowout tonight about how to use the internet because
The
we
night
have
is young.
problems with our Wi-Fi. So
Night is young.
the night is young. But this is like holiday time, so I'm getting ready like for gifts and stuff like that. And I'm a big alcohol giver guy. I'm like, what's the easiest non-personal thing to give somebody, yet personal enough that they're like, wow, I really appreciate that you gave me something that's this cool, and it's alcohol.
Under
So
21 pajamas, over 21 alcohol.
under 21 alcohol, over 21 alcohol. That's what I go. Give this to your dad, kid.
Yeah.
That's right. So I went shopping, and I was like, you know what? I'm shopping for myself too. Like, I'm shopping for all this nice alcohol for people. Like, here's some nice tequila for you and some nice whiskey for you. And I said, you know what? How about a gift that gives? I got to give back to myself. I got to love myself before loving anybody else, right?
Got to fill your cup first.
Exactly. And how am I going to do that unless I
My
buy
lord.
myself some bourbon?
Oh,
Boom.
look at you.
Basil Hayden.
Basil.
This was in Costco.
Look at that.
Down in Costco, it's it's a bigger bottle than I've seen in the
Is it a liter?
regular store. No, I think it's 750 milliliters. So this
That's
is like the
normal
normal
size.
bottle, but I almost think like they're selling the 500 milliliter in the stores for like the same price now. I don't know.
I think you're trying to find a deal where there isn't one.
I don't know. I know it was a good deal, but I was like, I know bourbon's gone up a shitload in the last like 5 years. Like, that's all I know. Because when I started drinking bourbon, not that expensive. Now you're setting back. You give a bottle of bourbon, people are like, damn, thanks a lot. That's nice.
Well, let's be honest. We've been drinking bourbon for a while now. I mean, there was days I remember like how cheap, not cheap, but like Angel's Envy was like in the 30s.
That was cheap.
It's cheap.
Now it's what, in the 50s?
Easily. Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Damn.
Either we're
Bullet
getting
bourbon.
old or bourbon's getting expensive. One or the other.
But you remember Bullet when it came out? It was like, I remember getting a bottle of $26.
Yeah.
Now that same bottle is like what, $40? Like, it's
Probably
on the lower end. People are like, oh, you mix with that. I'm like, it's $40. I'm not mixing shit with that.
Yeah.
It has to be in a plastic bottle at that point. So
Jeez.
I got a little cubage going. I was drinking it neat before, and now I decided, let me cool things out, slow things down with little cubes.
There you go. That's the move.
Mm.
Basil Hayden. That is a crowd pleaser right there.
Oh, this is my first bourbon that I fell in love with.
First one.
You took me out. We went in Hoboken. We went for some just adult drinks, and we had Basil Hayden. I was like, all right, let's try it. I think we came back from whiskey tasting or just going to whiskey tasting. It was back in the day when they had whiskey tasting. It was great.
Simpler times.
Maybe we're in the zone for that. I did a lot of wine tasting and a lot of whiskey tastings.
Yeah, those were simpler times. That was fun stuff.
A lot of fun. So I like Basil Hayden. It's I gotta say, this is the most loved bourbon by anybody.
By anyone?
By anyone.
On this podcast right now.
On this podcast.
I like that they have a couple different variations now that they're doing. They have the one, the toast. That one's actually really good.
I haven't had that one.
If you're feeling a little bit saucy and want to try something different, try the toast. It's quite good.
Are they the ones that had the ones aged in different barrels?
They got a couple different iterations right now.
Yeah, I think I had the
They have like a dark rye too. That's really good.
I had that one. But I think it was Basil Hayden. And they had the one that was I forgot the name of it, but it's like in some other kind of cask that was aged in, and I don't know.
They're messing with everything these days.
They
diversifying their product offering.
I had an orange flavored one.
Ooh, that's weird.
No, that would be the next step, right?
Yeah, right. It's like bourbon and yogurt.
It was a New World one. Did they have the New World? Is that Basil Hayden? They had one that was a new. I think it was Basil Hayden. It was a New World, and it
Order
was like
bourbon.
New World Order. So the toast I haven't had.
Yeah, the toast is quite good.
Oh yeah, they're saying make a Manhattan with a Basil Hayden. Yeah, I guess.
If you want
I
to be all
like Basil
fancy,
Hayden.
like.
That
Think how
is
much better
still
your
Buffalo
Manhattan would
Trace,
be.
isn't it? Yeah. What was that?
Think how much better your Manhattan would be if you used Basil Hayden.
That's
Right?
true.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, so this is Jim Beam.
Okay. Isn't there like
So-
3 or 4 distilleries that own all the smaller operations?
Yeah, it's amazing, right? It's kind of like beers. Like you think, oh yeah, and I like this little beer, and you're
My
like,
independent brewery.
yeah,
Owned
that's
by
owned by
InBev.
InBev or what? It's not
Yeah.
even Budweiser, but it's just InBev or was it Molson Coors, the other big one?
Yep.
Labatt is another one, right? Labatt and something else. Was it Labatt?
They got bought up too.
I haven't had a Labatt in a long time.
Nor should you.
Labatt Brewing Company. Ah, InBev.
See? There you go.
See, it's just a matter of time. They get all bought up, and there's like 3 companies owning them all.
Yep.
If you do a search on the internet, I did find it was either like a relationship diagram or a context diagram, and it was really cool because it was like, oh, great, and you have all these brands here and this big, like, this big
The
circle
mothership.
around them. They're all part of this, and then this circle like overlaps this circle. Then pretty soon they're all part of this one big circle, and that's InBev. And then you have like Molson Coors owns all these other brands, and it's not even beer. It's like the seltzers and wine, and who's the other one? White Star is another one, right?
I think so.
I think White Star is isn't that Heineken?
I don't know.
White
Star
Star.
Brewing. Star
Not brewing, it's
distributors?
White Star.
Distributors.
I think it's a distributor, but they own a bunch of stuff. White Star Brewing. Huh, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. All I know is it trees up to like 3 different companies. Like, damn, I didn't know that. I thought that I was drinking a craft beer.
Yeah. That's how it goes. So I've decided to go in a bit of a different direction. So interestingly enough, if you listen to our interview with Mike Chait from J Peak, I was drinking this during that interview because when I met Mike, it was at a Ski Vermont event, and one of the sponsors was Bar Hill Reserve, which is a distillery up in Vermont.
Nice.
And we're talking about a particular liquor that I'd never heard of. And I think the conversation with Mike started as we were like, I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh, he was giving me a description. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. I got to try it. So for the interview with him, I wanted to make sure I had it because some people say, like, when you talk to someone the first time, they're like, oh man, I'm going to check that out, and blah, blah, blah. And to me, I hate it when people say that and don't do it. I'm a man of action. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I promised him. I didn't promise him. I wanted to show him that I was appreciative of the time he took to explain it to me, and that I was valuing his information and was going to try it. So I did that, found it. I think we talked about it once. So here it is. Bar Hill Tomcat Gin.
Nice.
Tomcat Gin. So you're going,
Tomcat.
it's gin, but why is it brown? It's not white like the gin on.
I love gin.
Like Tanqueray. No, this is different. You know why? Because here's the story. It begins at Bar Hill with a distiller and a beekeeper working together in one of the most beautiful agricultural places on earth, northern Vermont. Ryan and Todd perfected the use of raw honey in their distillery, capturing the countless botanicals a honeybee forages into their spirits. The honey would always be kept raw to retain the character of the land that inspired them. So, Tomcat Gin is an expedition in search of a bolder expression. The robust character of the new American oak barrels mingles with the coniferous quality of the juniper, yielding an enticing aroma. Agree to
It's
that. A
that
touch of
juniper
raw
that goes.
A touch of raw honey leaves the revolutionary spirits remarkably approachable, whether drinking neat or in a cocktail.
Hmm.
So this Tomcat is interesting because it is gin, but it is then aged in new American oak barrels like you would age a bourbon.
Wow.
Apparently it's a prohibition drink. And one thing you get here, like you get the juniper and the gin, but you get the honey too, which is kind of crazy.
Nice.
And you get kind of a lemony citrus flavor. So it almost tastes like a gin cocktail, but it's just
Gin.
the gin that's been barrel aged. It's got a really cool flavor. And if you like honey and you like gin, like this is a really tasty beverage just on its own.
I think I got to try that out because I love gin. I used to hate gin, and then I was a gin lover, and now I'm like, I could just drink gin and club. I'm good with that.
If you got a Venn diagram, you got gin here and you got bourbon here. It's like a nice cross section with Tomcat in the middle there. So
dude, gin and bourbon, just mix it.
German.
It's German.
German.
So I just popped in the chat the what I was talking about. I did find the diagram. And it's the 5 companies that control the world's beer.
Man, good old visual capitalist. They make some nice stuff.
But look at that. It's like InBev owns all that crap. So Heineken is one of the big ones. And they own, I didn't realize, Heineken, Tecate is another big one.
Tiger out of Singapore.
Amstel, Dos Equis.
Equis.
Like, Dos Equis is taking over every ski area, at least Killington, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Sol, Red Stripe, Hooray Beer. That's freaking Hackup Shore. Hackup Shore, I thought was original German beer.
Hackup Shore. Sold
and they're
out,
owned
baby.
by a Dutch company.
Sold out to Heineken. Yep.
Lagunitas. That's Heineken.
Yep.
So it's very interesting to see. You're like, holy crap, you know, you're thinking.
Oh, I thought Keystone Ice was independent.
Well, here's a little thing. Kona, who knew it was part of InBev, right?
Goose Island, Elysian, Breckenridge Brewery, all a bunch of sellouts.
Yep. Red Hook.
Yep.
Stella. Gross. They're all part of Bass. I love Bass. Have you ever had Calamis? Whatever it is. Calamis? I think it's Argentinian.
I don't think so.
That's part of them.
Hmm.
So it's Peroni. I love Peroni. In small doses.
So some of them got sold though, like Leinenkugel and Blue Moon. They got sold to Molson Coors.
Yeah, and you think they're still separate? They're fighting the battle? No, they caved.
They sold out. We don't do the same thing.
They took their Unilever plaque at the end of the freaking Ben and Jerry's tour. That's when it hit you. You're like, damn it, it's all a show. It's all a show. We get to the end of the Ben and Jerry's tour thinking we're in Vermont, having some cool, funky Ben and Jerry's, and then we see the big Unilever plaque. We're like, damn it.
It's supposed to be some guy getting high, milking the cow. Like that's the guy getting the milk and the cream from my ice cream. Yeah.
A freaking high Vermont Willy Wonka. That's what we expected. And we got a Unilever plaque.
That's it.
End of the tour. Fuck out. Go to the gift shop.
Yeah, since it is, the holiday season, it's like the Charlie Brown Christmas special. He's like, my own dog gone commercial. Yep.
And then you're still sizing up how to eat the Vermonster. I'm like, you realize that's Unilever Vermonster. It's not Vermont Vermonster anymore. It's
the
high fructose corn syrup Vermonster now.
The Unilevanster.
Unilevanster.
Yeah.
How about a company that just makes everything with all the stuff you're not supposed to? We use red dye number 5. We freaking, or 3, whatever it was, the poisonous one. We use high fructose corn syrup. Just whatever. Just throw it on there.
Do that to every company. That's like most companies using all that crap.
Oh, yeah.
Cheap and easy.
Cheap and easy.
Well, speaking of not cheap and easy.
Let's go to ski news.
The not cheap and easy. I'll start it off.
Start us off.
We're talking about Vail. So Vail Resorts is saying they report a 2023 fiscal quarter and season pass results. So the passes that they pre-sold, essentially, right? They're saying guidance for that, and I love when they report EBITDA. So what is it?
Earnings before interest, taxes, and what's the A?
And
EBITDA.
EBITDA. But if you actually dig into it, it's kind of a little bit of a made up number. It's a weighting
Amortization.
It's a weighting based on your what was it?
Amortization.
Amortization, right? So it's a weighting based on your own scale of stuff. Like it's very interesting how they do it and they promote it and they send it out there. Like, yeah, we have to report it EBITDA, and it's like, you could manipulate that number. So it's just very interesting. So
earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
And there we go.
There you go.
I actually had a CFO explain that, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm never going to remember that." So
that's why
I just know
you
EBITDA.
handle the money.
That's right. I'm like, I know EBITDA is the made up number, so tell me whatever it is. Just as long as you preface it by EBITDA, I'm like, I'm taking this with a grain of salt. So highlights. They're saying net loss attributed to Vail Resorts was 137 million for the first quarter, compared to a net loss attributed to Vail Resorts 139 million of the same period in the prior year. So they had less of a loss, which I don't know how they have a net loss.
They get those big salaries to pay.
Very weird.
Don't forget that.
And of course, they have to do this whole kind of reporting because they're public companies. So this is the kind of crap they got to spin out and churn out every quarter and every year for the whole fiscal highlight, because they have to be fiduciary responsible for everybody's money that invests in them. So even if the skiing sucks, the profits have to be best.
That's what they care about. That's the most important thing to them.
Exactly. Not the fun factor.
Remember that.
The earnings factor.
Yes.
All about the earnings.
So interestingly, so they sold 2.3 million Epic Pass products for the 2022-2023 season. Now, this is up until October 31st. That's when their quarter ended. Passes. But is actually down 12% over last year.
Huh.
Because so remember they were so cheap last year. That's why.
But people are filling that gap with something. So what do you think they're filling the gap with? Did they even say it in here? Like, I'm looking through and I'm like, I don't see what they're attributing that to.
What do you mean?
Like a lot of times they'll explain like, oh yeah, we had a loss in the sale of passes attributed to blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know if they attributed that to anything.
Yeah, it's to them raising the price because they, when we were in the middle of COVID for the 2021-2022, they slashed the price, like I think was it 40% or 30%? They made it so much cheaper. So people jumped on that.
Of course.
So they were making less profit per pass with that. But they were saying too, even though it is down 12%, it's still an increase of 6% on the same period as last year, and 39% over the last 2 years, and 55% over the last 3 years.
Wow.
So it is still going up.
Yeah, there's a lot of COVID-19 references in here. It's funny, like COVID-19 is going to be used like as the scapegoat for at least 10 years after COVID.
Until COVID 2023 comes out. That's
exactly.
the new one to use.
Yeah, and they were like fears of COVID-19 or COVID-19, reaction or bounce back after COVID-19. Like they're going to be using this for a while. So,
yeah. But it's crazy too to look at this. So the net revenue was 274 million, but their net loss was 137 million compared to 139 the previous year. Ski school revenue was up 506% to 8.9 million.
Damn.
Dining revenue was up 55% somehow.
Yeah,
retail was up 42.
To COVID, everything was closed during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So those easy numbers.
Yeah, it's true. And here's the crazy thing. They have 1.2 billion in cash on hand.
That's big.
So they lost $137 million, but they still have 1.2 billion.
That's right.
See, that is clever accounting. This is why you always pay for an accountant, because they're able to figure stuff out and make sure you have more money at the end than you did when you started.
We lost money, but we have cash on hand. Like,
Deductions and, like,
how does that happen? So if you're not as profitable, how do you keep having more cash on hand? Like, it's,
selling a lot of sweatshirts.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, they cite COVID-19 for related limitations for lodging, for resort lodging segments, total performance. Like, it's funny, like it's peppered throughout here. And I'm sure everybody's doing the same thing. And
Yeah.
a lot of people are gonna, announce great results, or they did announce great results as, compared to COVID time. And now is when we're seeing a big beating in the markets right now because of the correction is what they're saying. But then again, some industries made a shitload of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see how this season turns out for them. And I'm sure they sold more passes in November. Because again, this quarter reporting ended October 31st. So they got a lot of money to spend too. But that's the thing too. Like, I don't know how the accounting works, but they've spent a lot of money on capital improvements. And I don't know how they're able to take those deductions in a way to make it seem like a loss. Like, if you have to front the money for a new lift.
Yeah, these reports are interesting though, because they put a lot into it. There's a lot of spin, there's a lot of like embellishment like within it, right? So they give these boring ass numbers at the front of it, and then if you're still reading, you get into, oh, the company's planning to introduce a new technology that's going to allow guests to store their pass product on the lift ticket directly on their phone and scan it. The lift's hands free. That's great. They're going to do this. They're going to do it. Doesn't mean they did it. They're gonna.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of, put stuff out there. So it actually gleans some insights into maybe what's coming at some of these resorts. It's just interesting. See, this is the earnings call, right?
Yeah, that was the recent earnings call. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever sat on one of these? I've sat on a bunch of these,
I've
and they're
tried.
weird
It's
and creepy,
painful.
right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, everybody, we're going to get ready to, and they mute everybody and they just talk. And it's like, okay, I'm waiting for like the orange juice report out of this.
Frozen concentrated orange juice. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. They're like, and here's the earnings report, and people are waiting to trade on it as they're giving it.
Yeah. And their stock price these days, I mean, everything's taking a beating. Excuse me. Their stock price is actually at $258 right now, which is down from $321 a year ago, but up from $215 back in the beginning of November. So,
wow, up 200%. Yago, right? All those little acronyms they use. Year ago.
All right. So next up, here's a cool, positive, happy story.
Boom.
So the new Thunder lift is opening at Jackson Hole. So this is going to come out Monday, the 12th. So it will already have commenced operations, but they're going to have a formal ribbon cutting on the 17th of December.
Boom.
Yeah, this is a big deal because this is, and I remember when we were there, I'm trying to find it's just out of my vision right now, the Jackson Hole trail map that I have up there. But I remember that section, like we lapped that area. That was like, that's such an awesome area on the mountain.
That was the area where like, yeah, everybody's saying this lift sucks, but you know what? Nobody was on it. And we just kept lapping it. It was great.
Yeah, we just kept lapping it. It was so much fun.
There's bumps, there's trees. It was fun for the whole family.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a big ribbon cutting on the 17th, and I wrote down a couple of notes about the about that particular lift. So the original chair opened in 1970, and they said they actually needed to lengthen the chair after they launched because of how much snow they had. So they had to kind of, make it taller because of all the snow. And it's just one of those things, like there's great groomers, there's tons of like pillows, people who are in the know up there, like that's where they have their secret powder stashes, is usually up there. And in the video, what the link in the show notes on the Jackson Hole website, it has like Jim Ryan. He's like, dude, he's like, where else can you get like an inbounds couloir? Like, it's like that's just
Oh,
how
it's
insane
nice.
the runs are off
I
that
just sent
lift.
you
So
unofficial networks thing, and they have a diagram on it. If you want to, let's put that in the chat.
let's take a look. Fire it up.
I just remember when we were hitting that, that was the funny thing because we were with Harry at the time, and Harry's a pretty good snowboarder, and we're just like jumping, we're doing a bunch of bumps and stuff, and we're like, holy crap, Harry's keeping up with us. Like, that's not fun for him on a snowboard, but he was having fun.
Yeah, he ripped.
That's when we knew
ride
Harry
time
was
has been
legit.
ride time has been cut down from 7 minutes to 3.6 minutes to ascend the 1,466 feet of vertical. So it says this one. So this one says the original was installed in 1994, but that's from unofficial. That's an unofficial result because the video on Jackson Hole's website said 1970. So maybe it got an upgrade in 1994. But if you're out there, do yourself a favor, check it out. It is an awesome lift, and it's going to be super fun. And hopefully, you guys, we can get out there at some point in the very near future because Jackson Hole is an absolute,
it's a gem,
amazing spot to ski.
I gotta say, so is that on your list of return places that you have to go back to?
100%.
Because it's on mine. I'm just wondering, like, when I'm going. Because
100%. One of the best spots.
You can do Corbett's if you go back.
Double backflip in.
Double backflip in. We don't see how you land, and we have the memorial tribute to Brian afterwards.
That's right.
I'm gonna make my own memorial. Roll some video. Roll some beautiful footage right here.
Died doing what he loved.
That's right.
Right.
All right, we're going back into the to the dark side of the mountain here. German skiing pioneer Klaus Obermeier celebrates his 100th year of skiing.
How's that the dark side?
It's a good side. He's 103. So I was reading this article and we were talking about it before. I'm like, damn. So he's 100th year of skiing. So he's skiing at 3 years old, I guess, right? And he's still skiing at 103 damn years old.
How badass is that?
He's got old like pictures on this article, black and white. They didn't even have color. Like, think about that. Like, they didn't have computers. They didn't have, like, think about that time 100 years ago, right? No computers, maybe records, right? And that's about it. That was your entertainment. Go out and hang out.
So when he first started skiing, you're saying?
Yeah.
1922.
Think about what that's the roaring 20s, right? So they had good music, they had people going out. That was like the original hot tub time machine without any crazy stuff going on. Like, you can get on the mountain, you're lost. Like, there's nobody out there. Now there's people
think how much a lift ticket must have cost back then too, especially
cost a nickel
in Germany. This is even before like the beer hall putsch. Like, Hitler wasn't even in power when Klaus Obermeier started skiing.
Dude, they had the Deutschmark isn't even around anymore. And this was Deutschmark times, right? It
was the Weimar Republic back then.
Yeah, before the Deutschmark. Which isn't even around.
The Reichsmark they had back then. Then the Deutschmark.
Then the Deutschmark.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's so awesome.
Oh, they got a photo of him turning 100 with his cake.
Yeah.
I love that.
He first started skiing in 1922 as a youth in the German village of Oberstaufen.
Oberstaufen.
First skis were constructed from chestnut wood planks taken from a crate his father used to buy oranges in nearby Italy, which he then bent and tied to his knees with strings to create tips and nailed his buckle house shoes to.
So think about this. You're bitching about the non-shape skis that you have, the camber, the width, all this bitching and belly aching. You know what you should do? Take that damn crate, that your dad bought oranges in, shape that into some skis, bend them, fold them, and then lash your feet to them and slide down the mountain.
There you go.
You want to be baller? That's baller to me. Just saying.
I find it, not making any accusations there, Klaus. Okay. So it talks about he fondly remembers skiing. He won 4 championships, slalom, downhill, cross country, and jumping in the 30s. And then it said Klaus grew up skinning up the mountains to get his turns as chairlifts were nowhere to be found in his village. And then it's like, well, in 1947, he moved to Aspen. It's like, what happened to like the late 30s, early to mid 40s?
Cocaine happened. That's what happened.
Well, again, no accusations, Klaus.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Listen, I don't know if Klaus had some sort of patriotic duty to perform as a German citizen at that time. We're not asking too many questions. All we know is Klaus ended up in Aspen in 1947. Am I right? Am I right?
It is. So I sent the his 100th year birthday. Snowbrains has. I sent you the article for it, and he's got his cake.
Yeah,
that looks like the cake that you like, the carpet cake with the berries on top.
Oh, love it.
Looks delicious.
Live like Klaus. I love it, man. That is a cake.
Guy's my damn idol.
Look how happy he is. This is what happens when you go skiing all the time.
He's just happy.
It is truly a fountain of youth.
He's like, everybody in this room I fathered. He's just like, he's Klaus. That's what he does, man. Not one single DUI or rape accusation. People in skiing don't get those. That's like football thing.
Well, you got a cliff. Oh no! She should have listened, and she went off the cliff.
If they're a little mouthy, they go off a cliff.
Hey,
that's my MO.
It's like being on a cruise ship director. It's just like, it's kind of got an argument, and she ran off, and there was like, turbulence or like a wave hit or something. And
turbulence. You're on a boat. Yeah, it's a boat turbulence.
Everyone knows boat turbulence is a real problem these days. But because of climate change, we're getting boat turbulence. Like, that's how bad it's getting. And Greta told us about boat turbulence.
And again, you're either at Hunter or Mountain Creek, right?
There you go.
Bada bing, bada bang, fell off the mountain. I don't know what happened to her. That broad is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Klaus, just again, always smiling, happy guy, still skiing. I mean, what more could you want out of life?
I want to know what kind of cake that is. Now I'm hungry. I want some of that cake. It looks berries and nice. I don't know.
It looks like a very like Austrian, German, like a cookie cake almost, like a Linzer tart, like a giant Linzer tart, raspberries.
But think of that versus like a freaking Duncan Hines. Like here you have berries and butter and like real stuff, like berries, butter, and dough.
Duncan Hines isn't even that bad. I've actually made a pledge that I will not eat anything that's not homemade anymore. Like if you go to
Duncan Hines homemade.
Well, it's
kind of homemade.
It's definitely on the fence. It's like that. What was that chick on the Food Network? The semi-homemade.
Sandra Lee.
Sandra Lee, semi-homemade.
Cuomo, the liar.
Did she marry Cuomo? Really?
She married Andrew Cuomo and then divorced him after a year because she found out like, oh, this guy.
He was a scumbag. Shocker.
He fucks.
But now think about
everybody else but her is what the problem is.
If I'm not getting like if this is like if it's a fancy bakery, I'll eat it. But I've got the point in my life where I'm like, if you bring me some sort of like A&P, ShopRite, like bakery, like ghetto cake like that, I'm not even wasting my time. I want homemade. So we're having a dinner party tomorrow. Homemade. I actually said to people, I'm like, I like homemade tiramisu. I'm going to judge everybody based on if they bring me that.
Oh, this is the best tiramisu bakery in town. I went and I got it. You have to get it
homemade.
And throw it right in the garbage. You're like,
homemade,
here's what I think
right
about
in the trash. Do it again. I've made tiramisu, I think, once or twice, and it is a pain in the ass. But you know what? Dude. Come to my house. I want a little respect to be shown. I want you to make a homemade goddamn tiramisu. You know what? I'll let you buy the lady fingers. You can buy the lady fingers. I'm not going to make you make them
Everybody
homemade.
buys a lady finger. Nobody makes lady fingers.
Everything else, I want homemade. I want you to separate the eggs. I want you to make the different because you got to like separate the yolks and the whites, and you got to like beat them both separately with
It's not the
sugar. And you
hardest thing in the
fold them
world.
together. It's not,
Yeah.
but you know
The
what it
hard thing
is?
is finding the what is it? The mascarpone.
Effort. Mascarpone.
You got to find the mascarpone. That's the
Wegmans,
hard
Whole
thing.
Foods. Go to.
They have it now.
You're coming to my house. You're coming to my house. I got
My
beef
house.
tenderloin waiting for you, and you're gonna bring me a ghetto ass tiramisu. I want homemade. Find the mascarpone. You could,
getting
you know
like-
what? You can go online and find some Balevicendia, Snoop shoes for $2,000. You can't find mascarpone. You can't find mascarpone. You're telling me? Make some
Balenciaga
effort.
are not homemade. Those are factory made now.
They're made
by
in Satan's
little
asshole.
kids and-
Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Find the mascarpone. It's called effort. You got the internet. You have a tool. You have more computing power than NASA did. You can find mascarpone.
Yeah. But you know what you're going to
There's
get?
no butts. Stop it with the butts.
You're going to get, this is the finest Italian bakery ever. And this is the best tiramisu this side of the Hudson. And you're like,
Show
you're
me
going
the
to have
baker.
to slap it out of their hand.
I
and
want to
be
see the
like,
pastry chef.
I want to see it.
Yeah. Homemade, baby. Like last weekend, my wife's family, they do a
Oh,
cookie
you're going to
day
get
for
Carlos is
Christmas.
what you're going to get. Fucking Carlos Bakery.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. My wife's family, they did cookie day last weekend. So all the ladies got together.
Cookie
like all the
exchange?
cousins. No. They do all their baking for Christmas that day.
Oh, so they don't pre-bake and then get together and do the cookie exchange?
No, there was like I think probably between 8 and 12 of them. And they brought
baking.
they brought the ruckus. Like they brought all their
That's
ingredients.
nice.
They
I
baked
like
all
that.
day. We hung out and drank and watched football, and they baked.
And ate cookies? Did you eat cookies?
Oh, dude, my wife made the pinoli cookies.
Nice.
Again, from scratch. She had the marzipan, the pine nuts. She made it from scratch. What a difference.
So I had a boss and she was great. She actually gave me a great reference to get my job now. And she's in North Carolina. She was a great baker. And I was like, I don't know how you do it. I don't want to know, but she would bake like crazy. She had 3 boys that she would just bake for. That's what she did. She just baked the shit out of stuff. Could she cook? She was all right. But she said baking was the thing. So she'd bring stuff in and be like, I want to make sure I'm there early to get the first dibs on whatever she baked. And she used to make pinoli cookies. And then one year she goes to Costco. They have no damn pine nuts. What the hell happens?
That's right. Supply chain.
She made them with damn walnuts, like a ghetto queen. I was like, you know what? They were still damn good.
Supply chain, bro.
But I was like, whatever. Supply chain.
Supply chain.
I was way back in the day. Pine nut shortage.
Be fancy. Bring some real desserts. Make some effort. That time of year. Show people that you value going to their house. You bring something nice. You don't just go and stop and get some crappy ShopRite thing. Make
But
something
then
nice.
again, if they're a shitty baker, they're like, look, I'm going to go buy whatever nice bakery.
You
I'm
can't
gonna
follow
pick this up.
instructions. Like I think so low of people who can't like cook. Like it's like it isn't that goddamn hard. Like you can
You
watch
just got to
videos.
try.
How to
You
do
just got to
it.
keep trying.
It's
Yeah.
called making effort.
Yeah.
We are at an effort crisis in this country right now. People don't want to make any goddamn effort. They want things
Right.
handed to them. I'm
How
just
about
gonna
box
go on
cake? How are you
DoorDash.
on box cake? Pro
I'm gonna
box
go on
cake?
Uber Eats. I'm just gonna. Where's my food? It's gonna take 45 minutes. Go to the store, buy a goddamn steak. It'll take you 10 minutes to cook it.
You know
Swear
what I
to
love?
God.
When people are like, I'm going to order Uber Eats. And it's like, it's going to be here in 45 minutes. I'm like, you know, you can walk next door and get it in 10, like,
Yeah.
and be back home. Like, no, but I'd rather sit on my fat ass and wait for it. I don't
There
know.
you go.
How
There
about a
you go.
box cake, though?
Fuck your box cake. I don't want it. Keep it out of my house.
How about,
No,
so I've done
no.
this pretty
Okay.
often. They do the 2 buy one, get one free. And they have the Duncan Hines, and I get the brownies. Those
You know,
brownies are damn good.
brownies.
Get
It's
the blondie brownies. I get the walnut brownie,
if
and
you
the
go on
turtle
brownies, you got to
Oh.
go Ghirardelli. But I will tell you, I really like the Kodiak cake brownies. Protein
Kodiak-
brownies, bro.
Kodiak
They're good.
cake's pretty solid. All we make in this house from now on, since we found Kodiak cakes probably like 2-3 years ago, is just Kodiak cake pancakes. That's it.
Have you tried the Kodiak cake
waffles.
brownies?
They have not.
They are awesome. They're not
Yeah?
overly sweet. They're really good.
I like that.
Big fan.
A lot of protein. It's like a protein bar. So you make
Kind
them.
of. Yeah. Well, speaking of delicious, there's an article this past week called "Taking Back the Mountains" in the
Boom.
New York Times, and it talked about, obviously what's going on in the ski world. It talked about Mount Sunapee originally, and excuse me, he talked about that. He said Chris Sununu ran the ski area.
Hmm.
I didn't think he ran Sunapee. I know his family owns Waterville Valley. Um, that was
Did he
kind of
run
interesting,
Sunapee
and
though for a little while? No.
I guess so. I didn't even realize that.
Did Brittany Griner ever ski there?
Probably. And of
Because I
course, it
see
talks
her
about
on
on the side there.
the sidebar.
It talked about climate change, shortening the ski season, wreaking havoc on infrastructure, blah blah blah. And it goes on to talk about different kind of passes. And one of the interesting facts about, talk about Epic Pass originally, how many they sold, 2.3 million passes. It mentioned that Stevens Pass in Washington, 46,000 people signed a petition saying they were disgusted with the management of the ski area,
Damn.
failure to treat employees well, excuse me, pay a livable wage, and the failure to deliver a product that they paid for.
So what do you do with a petition like that, right? So employees sign a petition. They hate their boss. They hate the way you're running everything. Like, what do you do? Like, so they present that to you. There's a bunch of signatures on there, and you're looking at it going like, I really am not going to do anything with this, but thank you for your effort. Like, what do you do with that?
That's a tough one. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, also too, it's a lot of like spoiled brats. Like, this is not what we wanted. But I
Yeah.
also get, the way that they just want to sell those passes to get as many people on the mountain. It's
like
hard.
a product. If you own a product, and like our podcast, right? We have people that write to us, haters, and they're like, "Oh, you're Infowars, and you're this, and you're that, and you're a bunch of douchebags, and you don't like you, whatever."
You're not wrong.
And most of what we get are people that hate us, but the people that like us, they just listen. They go their
showing
mild
up.
way, and they just kind of keep showing up, and they're the gold pass holders in my mind, right? So all you hear about is from the squeaky wheels that like to make a lot of noise, and that's it. So you want to sign a petition, go right ahead. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what that actually did, but they also talked about how it's Stowe, Vermont. This author's a Northeast skier. He said, on a powder day last winter, I sat for 45 minutes in miles-long traffic jam on the 2-lane mountain road while trying to reach Stowe Mountain Resort.
damn.
I gave up and went backcountry skiing instead.
Look at that.
Yeah. So then it goes on to talks about Vail. And then it said, jeez, choking here.
Choking.
They mentioned opting out and talked about A Basin, which, if you don't know, A Basin is one of the best places to ski, one of my favorites out in Colorado. And it talked about how, for a bit they were on the Epic Pass. And then back in 2019, they ended up scrapping it, going with the Icon.
Oh, wow.
And they said in early 2020, they had 69% fewer skiers than a year earlier when it was on the Epic Pass. And they said the experience is way up. The skier days are way down. And they proudly announced it on their blog. But it was also a record year for them financially. So they are no longer a part of inexpensive passes that drive a gazillion skiers. We are focused on creating quality of experience.
Quality over experience. I like that. I like that idea.
Well, that's like the perfect harmony. Like, it's almost like it's, in a way, you want to have your pass to be just expensive enough that, like, the Icon Pass is more expensive than Epic. I think the base starts at like $1,000, while the Epic starts at like 7 something. That's a big difference. And when you're out in Colorado there on I-70, it's financially behooves you to get the Epic Pass.
Yeah.
You got Breck and Keystone. They're just like right there. Then Vail. It's a no-brainer. But if you like, I would so pay more for less people every day.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a certain formula to that where people are willing to or not willing to pay, right? So if you're talking about like white glove service, like an elevated experience, like there's a certain threshold that people are willing to pay, or at least most people are willing to pay. And then when you go over that, there's still some people willing to pay. And those are the people that is like the sweet spot. If you can get that, are like, I will pay a little bit over, and it'll eliminate a whole bunch of people that don't want to pay that much for the white glove service, the extra care, the concierge experience. Like that's kind of what you want, right? Like, so it's kind of like if you're going to an all inclusive, like paying a lot more for an experience versus getting your bottom dollar discount, just getting out on the mountain. There's nothing wrong with that discount thing, just get out on the mountain, like, because you want to get on the mountain. That's all you want to do.
Well, it's like, it's like going to, like, think about like gyms. You go to Planet Fitness, and was it $10 a month, $20 a month? It's going to be crowded, and you should expect it to be crowded. And there's going to be a wait on a lot of stuff because, again, it is cheaper. But if you're going to like a Lifetime Fitness and spending 150, $200, you should be having, I don't know if white glove is the right term, but you should have an enhanced experience where better equipment, less wait time, more bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's the difference between going to Planet Fitness and wanting the white glove experience versus going to Lifetime Fitness and being like, this is bullshit. I didn't get the white glove experience. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you have to realize that what you're paying, like what you're gonna, knowing what you have, expectations that are realistic for what you're paying for.
Right.
Like you
and
can't
sometimes you find those magical gems where you're like, nobody knows about this. This is great.
It can happen. And like talking about A Basin, like I would classify that as a gem now that it's off the Epic Pass. Like that place is just, it's got, and the thing is where it is on the, it's pretty much on the Continental Divide.
Mm.
And it's on the windy road there. I think it's Route 6. And there's only 2 parking lots, 2.5 parking lots there. And if there's no parking, you're SOL. That's
so I think
how
we
it
should
is.
put a call to action for our listeners. Send us information on where you believe the best gems in the nation or in the world are. Like, for what you expect versus what you get are just amazing experiences.
Best bang for your buck ski resorts.
Yeah, like just the whole enchilada. Like, we're going to talk on our main segment about stuff that I'm like, I'm setting stuff up to do some cool stuff that is like a little bit elevated. Like, that's what I want. Just saying.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you. And then the article goes on to talk about Taos,
New Mexico.
Yeah, it said by 2014 it was a faded jewel, lost 40% of its skiers from its heyday in the 90s. And then a conservationist, Louis Bacon, bought the ski area in 2014 and tried to, focus on sustainability, which we talked about a couple episodes ago, how they are trying to be carbon neutral, and they're a B Corp now. And they are the second ski area to become carbon neutral, beating its original 2030 target by 8 years. So it just talks about how, like, they, again, having a different vision for how they want to handle the area. And they said they even talked to, local indigenous members there, and they were, pretty happy how they've been actually talking, walking the walk after talking the talk.
Yeah.
And then, again, talked about diversifying the slopes, how, they talk about this black woman out of Memphis who moved to Seattle and tried skiing. And she was like, I love the term. She's like, she went with some friends from Seattle to go skiing. She's like, it was magical. She's like, I felt like I was transported to a scene out of Narnia. So talk about her, and then the National Brotherhood of Skiers, and just a couple different ski groups that, cater to underserved communities. And then one more section of this article, it talked about reclaiming community, and they're talking about New Hampshire and how they have this Granite Backcountry Alliance, which is just a group of like network community of Glade skiers that sets up festivals, backcountry outings, parties, movie nights.
If anybody from the Granite Country Alliance is listening, let me know because I'll be going up to New Hampshire in January and February.
Look at you.
I'm writing it down in magic
Yeah,
marker
they're
right now.
talking about what they're doing. They've, the Granite Backcountry Alliance formed in 2016 to develop a network of ski glades in New Hampshire and Western Maine. So they're trying to break down the barriers to get involved with skiing and making it free and public, which is pretty awesome. There's a lot of rural communities. They said they have 10,000 skiers visiting the Granite Backcountry's ski zones each winter, supporting 16 full-time jobs and generating nearly $1 million in local sales activity.
Damn.
Pretty awesome. So a lot of cool different things going on. The article written by David Goodman, who also has the author of a book called Best Backcountry Skiing in the Northeast and host of the Vermont Conversation, a public affairs podcast and radio program.
Wow.
So cool article, and we will post that in the show notes. So you guys should check that out if you want more info.
Oh, yeah.
And that wraps up the ski news. And as we have both alluded to, it's time for the main topic. And we have some plans. We got plans.
We got plans. A lot of plans.
It's been a rough start for the Northeast here. We're going to talk about it again, so get your drink. We had the Snowbound Festival a couple weekends ago, and that was probably the best ski weekend in the Northeast because it was cold and
it was magical.
A lot of places were opening that
we were
weekend.
Around ski people and we're talking skiing. It was a lot of fun. I gotta say, I would love to do that every week.
That should be our thing. We're trying to make that happen. Make that our full-time gig.
I want to do all. What do they have? They have 3, maybe 4 events this year. Next year, they're probably gonna have like 5 or 6. I want to do all 6 of them.
We are not exclusive to them, though. We should be bouncing around to different events all over the country every weekend. We should be in Jackson Hole next weekend. The weekend after, going out to Taos, maybe out to Whitefish. Like that should be our thing.
Well, if you have an event, we'll MC anything. That'd be cool.
If you got a
Elks Club us out meeting to Jackson Hole, put us up in a hotel. We'll hang out. We'll MC. But
if you got an Elks Club meeting, you want MC'd, we can do that too.
Oh, we can make things fun.
If you want someone to shovel your driveway, we will do that too. We'll do a lot of stuff.
Pay us enough money. We'll do anything. Maybe.
We'll do some stuff.
$20 is $20. That's what I'm saying. That's the shirt. That's
Amen,
going around
brother.
town.
We will do some stuff. Anyway, regardless. So, Mario, you've got a big trip coming up. And I know this is a trip that you guys have been trying to make happen for the last couple of years.
Yeah. So I love my, make it happen, like struggle trip where you're in a car or whatever. Like I'm fine with that because there's something magical when you do a trip I've done trips on shoestring budgets because I haven't had money like in my life. And I tell you, there's something magical to that. Like, and then you start working and you're
like, is my car going to make it up this hill?
Yeah, that's right.
And your chains on your Altima, get up that hill, up Gay Lane, the old dirt road.
Dude, I remember being in Buffalo in what the fuck was it? It was a Buick LeSabre, fucking old Buick LeSabre, front wheel drive. And I'm driving in a snowstorm to go up to Holiday Valley to go skiing. And it was just, at the time I was like, I could drive in the snow, whatever. It's like a foot of snow falling. I'm like sliding around a little. I'm like, I don't care. Now I slide a little. I'm like, what the hell's going on? It's just different. Like you change as you get older. And
what year was the LeSabre?
I don't know if they still make it, but that was like it was probably like an 85 LeSabre at least.
That was, the golden age of GMs. Obviously.
Oh yeah. It was probably an 82 and I was driving about 89 and
nice.
It was just I remember getting stuck. Oh, that's another story. So it was another ski day. I was like, oh my God, it snowed. Let's go skiing. So my buddies and I, let's go, like whatever. And we're like, okay, we're not gonna shovel anything. We'll shovel everything in the morning, whatever. So we shovel out, of course, like 3 feet of snow fell. It's Buffalo. And we dug out the car And then we're tired. I'm like, I'm gonna go get my ski crap and whatever. And we come out and the plow came and there's another foot of freaking snow. I'm like, God damn it. So we dig it out again, and then we start going and we start getting stuck. And I'm like, fuck. So we're trying to get out. I'm like, I think I could get over it if I just go fast enough. So push us back. And then so we're trying to push back and then go over this little hump or whatever. Also, the car runs out of gas. I'm like,
oh,
fuck, I didn't have any gas in the car. So I'm like trying to siphon out from my roommate's car manually. And we have a hose and we're just putting it down. And all we're getting is fumes. We're not getting any gas, just fumes. And I'm high as fuck right now. I'm like basically huffing
gas.
I'm like, this is the worst idea in the world. So we freaking finally somebody, I don't know, does it, whatever. We siphon out some gas and we put it into the car. We're like, all right, let's go. So we fill up and then we're driving down the road. Fucking plows are going by. We're trying to pass plows. It was a bad idea. Like, I'm surprised I'm still alive. And then you get up to the mountain and you go skiing and it's magical for the day, right? And you forget all that crazy shit that you went through. Probably like the 10 times we almost died.
Drank a gallon of gas.
Drank a gallon of gas. And then I'm driving after. I'm probably huffing high as fuck. Like, I don't know. Like, I probably was inebriated to the point of, and I didn't even have any alcohol. I just had like fumes. Just bad. And I look now back and I'm like, wow, number one, I don't know how I'm alive. And number two, like, I don't know how we got there. Like, but talk about the irony of like, oh, we just shoveled ourselves out. Then we're stuck. Then we're stuck again. Then we fucking car runs out. Like, I'm like, life is telling us not to go skiing. And we still went skiing anyway. And we had the best day. See? Just saying.
Yep.
So,
but now fancy Mario
I'm used to those ski trips. Exactly. Magical gems. So then you get a little money, you get a little status in the world, and you're like, hey, you know what? I like the idea of the all-inclusive and the cruise and the skiing. So why can't we combine them all? Right. So when I did Club Med for the first time with Harry, our buddy Harry, through the Tampa Ski Club, we did Club Med in San Moritz. And I was like, Club Med, this is going to be ghetto shitty.
Same guy siphoning gas into his beautiful Sabre is now at Club Med in San Moritz.
Club Med. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, I thought Club Med was out of business. So I'm thinking, I'm going to show up. It's going to be some ghetto shit. It's going to be horrible. But
hello, my friend. Welcome, my friend. Have to go skiing, my friend.
But when I looked at it, so Harry and I are doing the rationalization. I'm like, okay, if the food sucks, I'll go out and get food. But if the alcohol's good, we're going to make our money back in the alcohol, right? And the lift tickets are included. So I'm like, lift tickets included, alcohol included, lodging, transportation. I'm like, it all adds up to like a break even. So then we get there and it's like, the food was pretty good. The place was pretty nice. And I'm like, wow, I guess Club Med didn't go out of business. So from then on, I'm like, if you like the idea of a cruise or an all-inclusive and you like skiing, I really think you, and I hate saying it because they really should be sponsoring us, but that's a pretty sweet deal. I worked it out. I actually made money on that trip. So I did Pragelato, Italy, which is right next to Sistiere, in the Italian Alps with my wife. And that was the first ski trip. No, second ski trip. We did Vermont. We did Killington we just did Killington, but we did Burlington. We just drove around and had a fun ass time. Fucking love Vermont. Aside from Bernie, I love Vermont. I do like Bernie though. Just to hang out with. He's got good weed all the time.
True story.
True story. But yeah, I did Pragelato with my wife, and I tell you, it's freaking awesome. Had a great time. And then since then, like the year after, then COVID hit. Like that was COVID year, then COVID hit. And we're like, well, why can't we travel there and go skiing? And like, oh, the country's closed to you. I'm like, what do you mean the country's closed? We're Americans.
To
Everything's
me,
open to
do you know
us.
who I am?
Do you know who we are? And then you bring a little weed into Russia, and then you get out in like 90 days because you're famous. So just saying. Um, but we did Italy, and it was freaking great. We did. You don't realize where these places are, and then you start looking at like, what are we going to do on our rest day? Because I always take a rest day midweek just to give the legs a recharge, look at the area. I got to see the area. Like I can't go all the way to Europe and not see the whole area. So of course, you start doing a little research on the internet. Love the fact that everything's online, and magically, what is 2 hours away? Barolo. You know what they make in Barolo? Some of the best wine in the world. You know what we did? Drink some of the best wine in the world for pretty cheap because we're in Italy, and they're just like, it's like water to them. It's crazy. So we had a great time. So I did Val Thorens with the Hoboken Ski Club, which they run some great trips, I gotta say, and they're doing Miraval this year. So if anybody doesn't know, Val Thorens is part of Three Valleys, Les Trois Valleys, or Les Trois Valleys, whatever, however they say it in French, the French style. But it's Val Thorens, Miraval, and Courchevel. And it's great because you're skiing up and into one and into the other. And then you come back and you make sure you end up where you need to be so you can get to your hotel. And which is about, I think, 3 hours south of Chamonix.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's all that area. Like there's Chamonix, Val Thorens. I think Val d'Isère is not too far. But they have a Club Med in Val Thorens. So I'm like, I want to redo the trip with my wife because when I went with my buddy Harry, it was just us dudes hanging out with a big ski club, and it was fun. But now I got my wife that wants to ski, and I'm like, I want to show you what real après ski is like. So it's going to be skiing, après ski, skiing, après ski, e-skiing. That's the regimen every day.
You've been to Val Thorens before.
Yes.
That was the Tampa Ski Club, right? You said
Hoboken.
That was Hoboken. Okay. That was with Harry.
And it was a great trip.
Didn't you guys go like just after like Michael Schumacher had his accident?
Yes.
Because that was Mirabel, right?
Yes.
Because
and I remember you texting me while I'm there, and I'm like, I don't know, they didn't have anything marked. Not to go on it. Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
But that was a great trip. So I gotta say, it was so.
So when you go there, do you actually go to the all three valleys? Like, how does that lift ticket work?
So lift ticket is there's two different flavors of lift ticket. You can either do the one mountain or the all mountain, and we did the all mountain. And I gotta say, if you do Val Thorens, you are skiing into Miraval almost every day because there's good terrain in Miraval, and you just jump right in, like first lift, and boom, you're right into Miraval. And I gotta say, most of the skiing I did was in Miraval. It was really good. Val Thorens was cool, but more, I don't know, just different. The terrain in Miraval was pretty chill. Courchevel was nice, but we didn't spend a lot of time because the fear was it took probably about almost an hour and a half, 2 hours to get over there, and then an hour and a half, 2 hours back. So you got to make sure you do it in time or you get stuck. And then you're overnighting somewhere and whatever. And now at this stage of my life, I'm like, that's not the worst thing in the world. I'll just spend some time, just check in, just travel with your passport, and you're good,
How does that work in terms of, like, is there anything you can compare it to in North America?
We didn't do it when we were there, but I'm wondering if it's the snowbird to Alta, the Alta to where you ski in and ski out kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's like right there.
Yeah.
Like, there's like a gate. You just go through the gate and you're like, I'm here. All right, cool. I'm back in Snowbird.
It's kind of the same thing with Val Thorens and Miraval. That's what I'm saying. Like you're skiing and you're like, oh, we're in Miraval right now. Like it's just kind of, you're there. Like you took a lift up and then you ski the one way and wow, we're in the other area. Make sure we hit this lift and get past this point so we can get back into Val Thorens,
Okay.
But Val Thorens, the thing about that is, so Courchevel is very, very high end and chic, right? So I've been to Cortina, Italy, and Cortina, Italy is one of those like Vale like places where, or Aspen like places where this is everybody. Like I saw when I was in Cortina, I think I texted you. It was, I saw a few, what you call it, Lamborghinis there. And I'm like, Lamborghini in snow. I'm like, but they are 4-wheel drive.
They're all-wheel drive, yeah.
Right. So I'm kind of like, I get it. But it was one of those places like people go out like at 5 o'clock after dinner, 6 o'clock, whatever, with the furs on. Like the women put on the fur and the men are like walking around there and they walk around, they look at all the shops. That's what they do. They do the walk. And it's kind of a cultural thing. It's pretty cool to be part of it. If you're there at like 1 in the afternoon, everything's closed. They close for lunch. So you got to kind of learn that. But that's kind of Courchevel. Courchevel's upscale, shishi, but there's also some very steeps in Courchevel, which are supposed to be pretty cool. Miraval is a really cute little town. Has really great terrain, but it's a mixed terrain. And then Val Thorens has like a really good party scene, and then decent terrain. Like it's kind of, it was all right terrain. I gotta say, Miraval was better. In Courchevel, we didn't explore as much, but we were in Miraval the whole time. So,
Okay, nice.
The other thing about Val Thorens is, you hear my wife yelling at
Someone's
Stormy.
getting yelled at.
Oh yeah, he's barking at the TV. There's a damn dog on the TV, and he's saying hello.
Let me holla at you. Holla, holla, holla.
Holla, holla. Yo, girl, holla. But Val Thorens, I gotta say, they have a Fale Deuce. So if you've ever been, Val d'Isere is the big Fale Deuce,
Oh, yes.
and then Val d'Isere has the big Fale Deuce. Val Thorens has the smaller Fale Deuce, but it's kind of similar. And I gotta say, it was a party on the Mid Mountain.
Courchevel has one too, apparently.
Yeah, but the one in Val Thorens was, I gotta say, I had the best party day ever in my life.
Ever.
Like ever. I've been in New York City raised, the whole thing. Never been to a party like this. And it was on the mountain, in the snow, everybody happy, chill, great music. And it was like EDM music, but performed live. And it was amazing. And all they serve there is rosé wine and champagne. That's it. You want a beer? Go fuck yourself. You want a mixed drink?
We are
Go fuck
too
yourself.
fancy.
That's it. Don't
We
get
have
too
White
fancy.
Claw?
We're very fancy. No, we don't dip down to White Claw. We don't dip down to beer.
No White Claw.
Rosé wine and champagne. That's it. Do you want to buy a glass or a bottle? That's it. They sell it by the glass and bottle. That's it. So you buy a bottle, and if you don't want to drink it, you share it with people. Just share it with friends. And everybody's dancing on the tabletops, and that's another thing. So we're going with other friends from Florida. So
Florida goes to France.
Yeah, that's right. So our two friends, I think the one girl skied a little, but she's not a cold weather or skier person. And our other friend, he's like a big water skier that actually skis. So he's like a champion level water skier. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but that doesn't necessarily translate. But he's like, oh, he skied a bunch too. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's a Texas guy. So he's like, he's skied a lot and done a lot of stuff. So I'm like, whatever. We're going to go out and we'll show you what the shit's like.
Nice.
I'm like, let's go backcountry. I'm like, all setting stuff up. I'm like, I got to tone things down. But the good thing about the Club Med, like, so here's the thing. I hate promoting it because they don't sponsor us, and they gotta sponsor us because anyway.
You gotta work that angle when you're there.
I've tried. They just don't respond. I think they're Chinese owned. That's why they're like, fuck
boy.
You. Yeah. But anyway, when you go there, you get 6-day lift ticket, you get 5 days lesson or guide. And if you're at the top level, you're just like, nobody's giving a lesson. Just guide me around. Like, are we going backcountry today? They give you all the AV gear. If you're going here, they just take you around and they say, go here, go there. Let's go. We'll meet you down at the bottom. Like, it's great. So I like that. And then my wife goes, she's she's kind of an intermediate. So she goes with that group and she likes the lessons and she likes being with a group. She has a great day all day. And then we meet up at dinner and talk about our day. It's really magical. I got to say, it's pretty cool.
Nice.
So
Very
my
cool.
wife's yelling at the dog.
Yelling at the dog.
Awesome.
She's looking forward to a week without the dog.
That's right. Oh, we missed the little doggy. He's such a little asshole though sometimes.
Yeah, that's what they do.
He's a dog, you know.
So
How about you, Bill?
My season. So I've made a decision. I live where I live for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but I do. And instead of complaining about being too far from skiing, I made a decision a couple weeks ago to just buy a season pass for a local place that I think is best for my needs at the moment, which is getting my kids to fall in love with skiing.
What's the name of that place?
So I decided to choose Bear Creek Mountain Resort
Boom.
in Macungie, Pennsylvania as my choice. Macungie. It's like near the
I had a buddy that lived in Macungie for a little while.
It's funny. I dated a girl who went to Kutztown, and we joked because there's like Upper Macungie, and she's like, "It sounds kind of like an STD. Like I have like an Upper Macungie infection." She was a fun girl.
You know what's in Macungie is Bicycle Magazine's home office is there, and I've done a ride out of Macungie. They have it in about November every year, Bike Magazine, and they have what do they call it? A velodrome, and it's basically the slanted thing where you race on
the banked angle, the banked track.
Yeah, so you actually do the ride, and you end up in there, and you can ride that thing as much as you want, and you're riding that thing, and you're like, I think my pedals are going to hit because it's such a steep thing.
Oh, for sure.
It's a little scary. Like, wow, this is where everybody races. It's pretty cool. They do a big USA biking thing. Like it's pretty cool place.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so I had never been there until February of this year, earlier this season.
Nice.
And a big shout out to our boy Rob. He recommended it. He was doing a pass there every year, and I was like, I got to take Benjamin here. And
are we doing a trip there?
I think we talked. Some discussions have happened.
All right,
nothing's in stone, but
dude, I'll fly up for that.
We'll see we'll see how it goes down.
I'll jump on a flight. We're going.
So there's a lot of places that are about 2 hours from me, and it's Poconos, Mountain Creek, and if you were listening to the last episode and you heard our smash or pass with our pals the Albas, you could tell my thoughts about Mountain Creek. So I decided this was the spot to go to. It doesn't have the highest vertical. It's going to serve, like I said, the purpose that I need it for. So,
dude, I know a lot of people that don't have the highest vertical. It still works.
My son is 5. My daughter's 2.
Aww.
They both have their skis and boots. And
God, that's precious.
I want to go as much as I can with them this season. So I needed to find a spot that was drivable. And I looked on the maps too, because a lot of other spots, if I was in the Pocono area, it's there's definitely like hotels and things, but within like 20 minutes of this place, I guess there's a big hotel right there. It's beautiful. It's really expensive on the weekends, but it's really nice. It's like a whole conference center resort thing.
Nice.
So I'm even like trying to like plan out days where, okay, we'll take off Monday, Tuesday, take them out of school. We'll ski a couple days.
Yeah.
On the weekends, when you go back to the main highway, there's like Dorney Park, the big water park is there, and there's like all these, there's like hotels and restaurants and stuff. So I'm planning in my head to do like a bunch of like, we'll go out there Saturday morning, we'll ski, we'll go stay at a hotel, then we'll ski Sunday. Because again, it's
nice.
I could drive and do day trips, but if we did a night somewhere, like that would be a lot easier and get a lot more skiing and less driving.
It's a lot cool for the kids, right? They're like, oh, we're staying over, and
there's like pools, indoor pools at the hotels, so they can do that. Like I'm trying to make everybody
kids love pools, right?
Happy. This is the problem right now, is that I'm trying to make everybody happy, And on the list of making people happy, I am at the bottom in terms of priority.
I'm here making you happy. Let's go ski somewhere. Bring the
Yes.
kids,
Well,
bring the
no. This is the
family.
thing: is that I have to be at the bottom of the priority list because this is my role right now. At
I hear
this
you.
age,
That's a
my
good experience.
happiness means
Exactly.
nothing to anybody.
You're paying it
Nobody
forward.
cares. This is what it's called being a goddamn man, being a goddamn dad. Is your happiness is just it's just flushed down the toilet. No one gives a fuck about your happiness.
But you're paying it forward because when you go on a
Oh,
trip,
I'm literally paying it at the moment too.
but when you go on a trip in the future, the idea is your kids love it. And then you get to go on a nice ski trip with the kids.
That's exactly the way I'm trying to
Right?
do the grunt work. It's like in the spring, you want to hang out, you want to go frolic through whatever, but you know what? You got to get the ground ready. You got to plant the seeds. You got to start growing and cultivating and harvesting, and eventually you get to reap the rewards. But
Nice.
it's not the I want it now. I'm going to get it now. It's you got to put the time in so that down the road you get the big payoff. So
A
that's
lot
what
of
I'm
people
doing
don't
now.
realize that this day. If you're
Planting the
under
goddamn seeds.
25, you don't realize anything like that.
Let me tell you. So I was at Shawnee with my son last year, and he did a lesson. I kind of just skied for a bit, and then we got together and I played with him on the bunny hill. We went to the other hill, and it was one of the coolest comments I got was, I think I said this already before, is we were on the hill and I have him on the leash. We're on the bunny hill, and a bunch of kids, they're probably like, teenagers, early 20s, whatever. And they saw me with him, and he's, 4 at the time. And they were
No.
just like, oh, I heard them like, oh man, I wish my parents got me on
See?
at that age.
It's awesome.
And again, like that, like hearing that is like that fuel for me. Like just being like the things, like those times that we're gonna have now. Like this is planting the seeds for him. Because in my delusional mind, I'm creating like a Bodie, like a Michaela, and like I want to be like that dad. Like, oh look, there's Benjamin's dad in the crowd with his camera taking
Aw.
pictures and giving him high fives, and up he had a couple drinks. Look, he's being a little bit silly. Like I want to be that dad. Like I want to be the, put the time in
You
now.
still want to be the dad that's like, oh, my kid's cute, right? You want to buy some weed?
Yeah.
No, hold on a second. That's not it.
You don't want to be too weird, but you want to be like, like you want to give them that love and get that excitement in them. And they also too, force the wife to go, okay, we have to move to, Colorado now.
Boom.
Which is really the
kids
end
love
game.
it. The kids love it. They don't want to be here. They want to go out.
This is where I finally get to like Kaiser Sose my happiness.
Boom.
Like right now I'm at the bottom of the pile, but I'm gonna Kaiser Sose it and be like, we moved. See, I win. Like he has to move here because he needs to get better and ski more often. Like Kaiser Sose.
Dude, you just gotta be like, I'm changing my career. I'm gonna be a lumberjack in whitefish. That's it.
Dude, I'm seriously, the way things are going, like I may just have to like I'll be a snowcat driver. Like I don't know if I can tolerate.
Dude, you probably make a lot of money being a snowcat driver. What's the average?
Like $20 an hour.
That's right. That's cool.
I just gotta hold out for Bitcoin. Hold out for just put it into Bitcoin. You do. Oh, I'm thinking, what if I did like a video podcast from the snowcat?
Fuck yeah.
What if I
have that going?
If I could just like talk to myself, like I'll put the camera on, I'll just take a bunch of coffee, I'll just like spew my thoughts, and it could be like, oh, it's the Snowcat Brian Chronicles.
Snowcat Brian.
Yeah.
Boom.
SCB.
Snow.
Hey, it's SCB. He's like, what's up, brother?
SCB, what's up, brother? Gotta get you down here. Gotta get you to meet Hulk.
Dude,
what's up, brother?
Like your best friends. You guys are like bros.
That's right. I hang out with Hulk every week.
Both sit there at the Costco pharmacy waiting for your prescriptions to be ready.
That's what happens, man. You start banging around. That's what happens.
Oxycontin, brother. Need this.
I'm like, Hulk, man, I got my medical card. We just go to the dispensary. He's like, all right, brother, let's go.
Mario and Hulk. That picture, you guys, is hilarious. I love that.
It's like best friends. It's like the Shaq commercial.
I'll say more like Step Brothers.
Step Brothers, just hanging out, just chilling.
Right. Bros being bros.
Going to work today? No, Hulk's coming over.
Need Hulk. We're gonna hang.
Oh, it's like, the fuck? You sit around all day? Yeah, I am.
We're gonna play some Shell.
That's right. Playing job. Got my controller just ready.
Yep. Playing some Shell with the Hulk. Well, so yeah, so those are our plans intermediately, and we have we have to like pinky swear right now that we are going to ski together at some point this year, because the last couple of years have been whack ass booty nonsense.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like I tell you what, the COVID thing had me in a swirl. Like it fucked me up. Fucked
Yeah.
me up bad. I'm like, I don't know, travel and everything, and it's just weird. So we gotta.
You let
So
me know, because people are asking too. People want to know when we're going to be in the Northeast, because in New Hampshire or Vermont, because we gotta reach out to our people and get out there on the slopes together, because people are asking and we need to make it happen.
we gotta plan. So I'm gonna be up in New Hampshire. I
Let
gotta
me know
stay.
when you're going to be in New Hampshire, and we will work around that schedule.
I'm thinking end of January. End of January, beginning of February.
Okay.
That might work.
I'm going to make sure my car is still in working order by then.
We'll figure it out. You can Uber there.
Just like a nice 6-hour Uber ride.
What we do is we invite Steve. Steve has a company car. Steve picks you up, and then you whisk you up there, and we hang out.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Why are you thinking about this? Don't think too much into it.
Well, no, you just gotta pick days. Just be like, we're going. I'm gonna be up here, and just
I gotta pick days because it slips away very quickly. I'm like, oh, I should be able to go, and I'm like, yeah.
And then it's April, and you're like, oh,
fuck, I missed it. Oh yeah, I'm already in December. I'm like, I had no clue that like Christmas was like 2 weeks ago. I'm like Scrooge. I'm like, everybody, why are you taking off? Like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, it's Christmas, Mr. Monter. I'm like, oh yeah.
Dude, I'm going stolening next week.
Are you?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna post pictures.
Are you gonna wear the jumpsuit and then go stolening?
Dude, I gotta wear my like sweatpants when I go stolening, because I'm just gonna.
So I have an ugly Christmas sweater that has like the little. It's like Santa holding the package, and the package you could put a beer in.
Nice.
You put a stolen right in there.
There you go.
That could be your ugly Christmas stolen sweater.
I have the picture from last year. I bought 4 stolens from Market Basket last year.
Boom.
And I don't know. And the crazy thing was looking at how much it cost last year.
You should wear them as a belt. Just put them as a belt around you, because that's where it's going to go. So you just wear them as a belt, and then as you eat them, they become the belt. Right? So art transforming.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the receipt. So last year, the stolens were $25.95 each. And I bought 4 of them. I had over $100 in stolens. Now, interesting fact.
You're investing. You're going big. Blue Horseshoe's going big. It's stolen.
Dude, I have scoured New Jersey for the best stolens, and Market Basket in Franklin Lakes has the best ones right now.
So my wife she's looking because I gotta say Aldi carries a mean stolen.
That's amateur hour stolen. Come on.
Amateur hour.
Come on.
She's like, Mario, this is the only stolen we can get. So she's like planning to get me stolen. I'm like, I don't want you to get me stolen, because I'm going to eat that thing like crazy, and I'm going to gain like a lot of fucking weight. Like I'm going to actually have to run. I walk right now. That's it.
Didn't we stop during Ski Bum Week at Aldi in Rutland?
Yeah.
Get like 2 or 3 stolens.
And then they had the stolen, like the little, is basically stolen in like a little fancy little, almost like a little chocolate tin where you like take different types of stolen. And I was like, I have no idea what this is, but we got it. And I was like, just give me the loaf. I just want to cut the loaf. And
why has no one done a stolen milkshake?
That would be in Germany. Do they have a stolen milkshake?
I'm pretty sure. There's got to be like a Starbucks or something that does like a stolen milkshake in Germany.
How about this? We go to Oktoberfest next year. We set up a stand. Stolen milkshake. Stolen shake. Steak.
I take the eggnog and just
Steak Shack, not steak.
Get some get an eggnog. Throw some bits of stolen in there. Blend it up.
Yeah, not Shake Shack, but Steak Shack. It's stolen Shake Shack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's coming up. We're getting ready. We're getting fired up.
Oktoberfest next year. You in or out?
I'm out. Totally out.
Fuck.
No way in hell. Dude, I can barely do anything. I'm not going to Oktoberfest.
One day, 22 hours, and then right back in.
Nope. Can't even do it.
I'll buy you a ticket. I'll get you a ticket.
Dude, it's also right around my wife's birthday. There's my daughter's birthday, my wife's birthday. I can't
Happy
even.
birthday, honey. You know what I got you? A trip to Oktoberfest.
I got you. You can deal with these monster children for a whole weekend yourself.
Dude, you do the same thing with like Monster Truck Jam. I got you tickets to Monster Truck Jam. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Brian. You wanted this. Yeah, but it's for you. I'm doing this for you guys.
Like buying a vacuum for your wife for Christmas, right?
Exactly. It's like vacuum.
I got you a Roomba,
toaster.
so you don't have to do it. See?
Dude, I got a Roomba for myself because nobody in this fucking place vacuums. I'm the
Yeah.
dude that does the floor. They make the Puerto Rican do the floors.
Goddamn
horrible.
racist.
Fucking dog looks at me like, when are you gonna do the floor, man? I'm like, that Roomba's gonna vacuum. I'll mop, but I'm not happy about it.
Brutal. That's our plans. We got some big plans. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have fun. And, obviously, we're going to keep talking about it. And if you guys have any recommendations or places we should definitely go, hit us up. We'd love to hear more. skibumpodcast@gmail.com. That wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate it. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. Go to the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Untapped. We'll call YouTube social. At Ski Bum Podcast.
It's all social.
There's still shopping to do. You got a couple days left. You can still shop on the site. Get it before Christmas. skibumpodcast.com/shop. Patreon. Help us out. Hook us up. Patreon.
We need Christmas gifts too.
Like,
help us out.
Ski Bum Podcast. Anything else? That's pretty much everything. Thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Stay high, safe, and loon.
See ya.